Greetings everyone, my name is Tony Holowitz, and in this tutorial I want to talk to you about what I consider to be the most important field in ACT. If we look at this database right here, this is a demo database I've created. There are 5,552 contacts, 5,500 contacts. When you have a database, what is the point of having all this information if you cannot easily find contacts that are important to you? From a sales point of view, I always tell people there's two primary types of contacts: clients and prospects. Chances are you're going to have more prospects than clients, but if you can't find those prospects to be able to work with them or reach out to them or send a marketing campaign, what good is ACT? What good is data if you can't find the information that's relevant to you that you can act upon? So the ID status field right here is what I have always considered to be the absolutely most important field in ACT. And why is that? It's because you can simply break down who a contact is. In my experience has been that what I try to do with contacts in ACT is keep this field very simple. In other words, I don't want a ton of choices. I want to really simplify it. I'm going to click on the drop down right here, and these are the options that I normally use and recommend when having a database, and I want to go through these with you. My experience has been virtually every single contact in your database will fall into one of these categories. So let me describe it. Obviously, client. If someone's a client and you work with them, they're a client. The word delete, why do I have that in there? Well, the reason I have that in there is if you want to delete a contact, what I recommend is instead of deleting that contact, just put the word delete in the ID status field and forget about the contact for a little while. The reason is I have seen situations in the past where people try to delete contacts in ACT and they delete the wrong contacts. In other words, they deleted more than they really meant to delete. So usually I say, hey, put the word delete in there, forget about it, come back to it later. But before you delete the contacts, make sure you have a backup of your data. Be safe. And by putting the word delete in there, it just buys you a little time to deal with it later, but it sort of takes them off the primary list of being a client or a prospect, for example. The word employee can be used in two ways. One, a lot of times you'll work with a company and you might have 10 people at that company. And of those 10 people, maybe there's only 2 people that can make decisions, buying decisions. And all the other people, you want to be courteous and know their names, so you put them in ACT, but they're really never going to make a buying decision. So those are people I refer to as employees. Also, if you're in business and have your own company and you have people that are employees, you could put them in this category as well. The next one is the words new lead. So new lead is anyone that recently reached out to you for information. In other words, if a client reaches out to you and says, hey, I need some info on this, or if a prospect, turn them into a new lead, because every new lead is someone you're going to review at least weekly, maybe daily, but I want you to be able to find these new leads so you can easily find them to take action on them. Prospect, I think, is self-explanatory. Tony is anything in here that is personal. Now, a lot of times I see people put an ID status in for friend, family. That is overkill in my opinion. And the reason it's overkill is because don't waste time organizing the intuitive. In other words, you don't have to, you'll know who people are. You don't have to list them as family or friends, or you just don't need that level of detail. So anyone that is personal to me, I list as Tony. Now, let me just talk to you about this a little bit. When you look at all the items on this list, you will notice that every single item begins with a unique first letter. And because of that, it allows me, when I'm entering information, if I want to take the employee out, and you'll notice one of the things I had in there that I didn't discuss yet is the word vendor. But when I come to the ID status, because I've kept this simple, if I want to put vendor in here, all I have to do is hit the letter V. So because of the fact that there's not that many in here, and because they all start with a unique first letter, I have created a situation where data entry is really simple. All you got to do is hit the first letter. You can even go so far in Act as if you enter a contact in Act, you can make this field required, meaning it won't allow you to go on or away from a contact you've just created without putting something in the ID status. You'll see a little red warning come up saying, hey, you got to put something in here. So I don't always advocate that, but it is important. So the whole concept is, if you want to be able to send out an email to prospects, for example, you want to be able to come up and go look up ID status, type in prospect, it's already there, I'm going to click OK, and quickly find your prospects. Okay, so what I try to get people to do is keep this ID status field really simple. If you feel you need a higher level of detail, I usually recommend a second ID status field. Now, you might not necessarily call it that, but a second ID status field is where you could break it down a little bit more. So let's say they were a prospect and you needed to know, are they an accountant? Are they a lawyer? Are they an engineer? Who are they? Well, that's where you can have the second ID status. But the other thing that I always suggest to people is, with this, even if you have prospects that are different kinds of prospects, and you don't have it broken down to that level that you feel you need, my experience has been good writing can overcome lack of organization. In other words, if you send an email out, you can write it in such a way that it could go to anyone. So the key here is, I don't want you to ever be a database manager. I don't want you to waste time entering data. I don't want you to be that person. And I find that a lot of times I'll work with clients that they get so caught up in making sure the data is perfect, they never do anything. So the ID status field should be simple, it should be easy to work with, and allow you to find people that are relevant to you. My name is Tony Holowitz. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your time. Have a great day. Bye now.